Now, while the United States and China are busy shifting the blame for the pandemic, the United Kingdom is all set to host a virtual vaccine summit today. Prime Minister Boris Johnson is expected to urge world leaders to raise close to $7.4 billion. The goal of the event is to mobilize the resources for vaccines and immunization and ensure universal availability of a vaccine against the coronavirus. Now, this comes after the pandemic has exposed new fault lines in international health cooperation, especially with U.S. President Donald Trump's decision to pull out of the World Health Organization. Now, the aim is also to distribute the undiscovered vaccines to some of the poorest countries around the world. Ahead of the summit, Johnson even said that humanity should come together on global health that has become a contested diplomatic terrain, mainly between the U.S. and China. Now, what is interesting is that the money raised in the summit will go to Gavi. It's a global vaccine alliance headed by its key partners, Bill and Melinda Gates. And the foundation has been known for developing and distributing vaccines in some of the world's poorest countries for diseases such as malaria, cholera, and HIV and AIDS. The CEO of Gavi said, and I quote, "One of the targets is to focus on the 10% of children who are still not being immunized, 2/3 of whom are below the poverty line and often reside in conflict zones or urban slums." Gavi claims that the initiative aims to organize large-scale demand for vaccines and to ensure private pharmaceutical companies manufacture the drugs at a price that the poorer countries can afford. 50 head of states are scheduled to attend the meeting, and India too is going to join the event. Prime Minister Narendra Modi or a high-level Indian representative is expected to participate live or with a pre-recorded message, along with at least 35 heads of state or government at the event. The United Kingdom alone has promised about $2 billion over the next 5 years. The United States has set aside $1.2 billion over the next 3 years. Norway is proposing $1 billion and Japan has set aside $100 million. Now, the Gates Foundation will be unveiling its contribution at the summit. Russian President Vladimir Putin does not plan to participate in the summit. The summit is not exclusively for the aftermath of the ongoing pandemic. The United Kingdom is chairing the summit for the second time.
Challenging context, I want to reiterate that India stands in solidarity with the world. Our proven capacity to produce quality medicines and vaccines at low cost, our own domestic experience in rapidly expanding immunization, and our considerable scientific research talent, these are all at the service of humanity. Once more, my best wishes for the success of Gavi and its critical mission and of today's meeting. You can count on India's support. Thank you.
And there we just heard Prime Minister Modi giving his comments on the upcoming Gavi summit. And we are being joined by our Bureau Chief, Mandy Clark, live from London. For more on this, good evening to you, Mandy. First, let's start with Boris Johnson taking a practical and proactive step here, also with very ambitious goals. What are the details that you have for us on this summit?
Well, this summit is all about making the vaccine a human right. It's a global pandemic. It's affecting nearly every country, every corner of the world. And it's really to have that united voice that we are all in it together. And so let's all work on it together. The Gates Foundation is well known for its work in Africa. And the worry is that a vaccine that is developed perhaps in the Western world will be marketed only really for wealthy countries. And not reaching some of the world's poorest parts of Africa. And so it's really making the stakes that this is the whole world's in it together. We have to find a vaccine for the world and make sure it's affordable for the world and avoid a mass divide of people who have access to it because they can afford it in countries that simply can't afford it. So it's really kind of laying that foundation to find the vaccine, that this is the world's belief system and this is the way it's going to go forward.
Right, Mandy. And what do we make of some of the responses by countries, as an example, Russia, not willing to participate in a summit like this?
Well, Russia and the United Kingdom have had strained relations for a while now, so it wouldn't necessarily solely because of not wanting to participate in a global hunt for the vaccine, but it probably has more to do that it's being hosted by the United Kingdom. There had been strained relations going all the way back to the Salisbury poisoning. The UK accused Russia of performing murder on its soil. So those raised tensions haven't gone away, and it could be more political than really looking for a solution to the coronavirus solely. So it seems that politics is playing a factor, perhaps, in Russia's decision not to take part.
Absolutely, Mandy. And then with the politics coming into play, what is the likelihood of this hindering the success of a summit like this?
Well, that would be the worst outcome in the world, that national politics create divisions and lines. And what really needs to happen, if a vaccine can be found, is that the top scientists that are scattered all around the world can work together, that this fund can be used so people join forces, countries join forces and work in unison, because really to solve this crisis, you need the smartest people, and they're not found in one country, they're found globally. So everyone needs to come together and work together for a common cause. That's the objective. But if politics plays a factor, then we will see separations of those minds not reaching each other.
Right. Mandy, thank you for that report. That's our London Bureau Chief, Mandy Clark, bringing us the latest on the vaccine summit that's currently underway.